Real Talk with Erin and Malcolm. What's going on? What do you want to talk about?
We should talk about commitment and how much it takes to be committed and good communication to make things flourish. Communication.
Sure.
I think
Simple.
a lot of people have so many different ways of communicating with each other.
Hmm.
My over this time, there's so many people that I noticed plugged into something.
Right.
And what we're watching is what we get to know and what we're listening to and how we communicate. I know myself without internet
Hmm.
and without cellular data, that's costing me a fortune in Canada. It's really, really difficult to survive because everything is very digital and everything is by your mobile device. So I really, really do, before I say any more, I really, really do appreciate like WhatsApp and all these kinds of things that make us all stay connected via however we're all staying connected.
Like Wi-Fi
But
data, whatever. Hmm.
yeah, whatever those platforms are, email, the real connections, and maybe I want to talk about this because it's a Sunday,
Hmm.
is that, the real, the realness of real, of being real, right? And that's why this real talk is so awesome. And our past episodes, had a chance to listen to them.
Yeah.
And I think, wow, the wisdom that the three of us share as we come together on a platform
Yeah.
and we're on Real
On
Talk
Zoom. Yeah.
on Zoom. On
Yeah.
Zoom. So just the different ways of communication. I have noticed that English is not necessarily always our most spoken language around me
Hmm.
while I'm in Canada.
Yeah.
A lot of foreign immigration come to our country,
Oh,
and their
absolutely.
language
There's
is
tons,
strong.
even more, right?
Yeah. And so, to be able to read and write English and to be able to communicate, on these, like, I mean, some of these folders and files that I've been receiving in the last little while, they're hard
Hmm.
for me to understand.
Yeah.
They're
I
really
mean, the
hard for me
English
to
language
understand.
is the one of
And
the
read
hardest
all the
languages on the planet, right? To learn.
Yeah, and you have to read like so much to know exactly what you're signing up for or who you're dealing with or those kinds of things. So that's why I wanted to take the opportunity today to just be really grateful to be working alongside all my different people that I'm working with around, that we are real people.
Hmm.
We have real wisdom.
There
We're
you go.
Canadian trustees that know inside out and backwards where our own purpose and mastery is, you know?
Yep.
And yeah, so, sometimes like the old-fashioned ways work too, because I kind of got lost in some of the digital things. That's why I count on people like yourself, Malcolm, and your company
Yeah.
to restore all my former platforms. Because, if we don't have all these different people working within, we lose out. And IT has been such a under um, budgeted, I guess I would say, line, at
It
least for
can
my
be.
corporation, uh, you know, um, because that's one of the things I honestly can't really do myself.
Hmm. And it's
I
so
just,
important, right? It's like the backbone of everything. Like it just makes things move forward. If you don't have any sort of technical background or something like that, you got to hire somebody, or else you're falling behind, right?
well, and then like the security of having good, trusted people like yourself securing that whole vault for us
Hmm.
as owners and founders and entrepreneurs that continue to want like or continuing to move forward, right? Because
Yeah,
yesterday was in the past, right? So I
of
just
course.
really appreciate when people help me out and I can just count on them to be honest and earnest and work with us to build what we're supposed to be building, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of breaches and confidentiality and all those kinds of things within all these, even national banks, hospitals, like these are all big, because they don't have the proper IT security, I guess I would say, against, someone told me, someone in their basement somewhere, tapping into a system, right?
Yep. Hey, and
Yeah.
I mean,
So
sometimes if there's a will, there's a way. I mean, I've known some people that, they work for big, exorbitant budget for like IT and everything like that. And even then, even if you're diligent, if somebody wants it, they're coming to get it. But
Mhm.
it depends on how that team responds on how to like restore or stave off those attacks, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But
And I
it's
don't
pretty
think
nuts.
it's people talk about like being paranoid about some of these things, but this is the real reality. You can watch the news, you can talk about your own kind of humiliating stories of being skimmed or ripped off or whatever you call it.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of it, has to do with, not working with honest people because you don't know when you're just doing these things. So, part of today's platform is I wanted to make sure that we have a link to some of the things that we have going on, especially with auto finance service.
Hmm.
Somebody is looking for a vehicle, they're looking to finance a vehicle, they're looking
Right.
to refinance,
Hmm.
give me a call. As
There
put
you
our
go.
link on it. No, put our link on this
Absolutely.
reel. Click
Okay.
on it. If
Yeah.
fill out the form, call me. My phone number is 1-431-866-8467.
There
No,
you go.
seriously, because lots of people are looking to get real help with real knowledge, and that's a real company. 20
Yeah.
years doing Canadian business
Absolutely.
across across
It's
the
huge.
country, and
Hmm.
I'm lucky enough to hold the manager card of that company. So,
You go.
I will do everything possible. I know I've worked alongside many communities this past year.
Hmm.
Communities, people that are living within a community, they need all sorts of things, from garbage trucks to service vehicles, cargo vehicles,
Absolutely.
transportation for health care, all of those things.
Yeah.
We're one-stop shop and we deliver right to the community, right to the First Nation. And I know all the rules and laws and treaty rights, all those things. So we
Right.
get things done very, very quickly. And I know all of us on this platform are part of that. So
Hmm.
I just want to really encourage anyone that has listened to us in the past that we are actually real people. We're talking real talk. We
Yep.
are getting
And here to
together
help.
every Sunday morning, after whatever we're doing, and we're carving time out to bring our voice to a platform of positive change.
You got it. It's all about, you know, positive change and just like picking at the little threads that are out there in the world, seeing, oh, okay, what does this lead to kind of deal. Or just having a conversation. But yeah, today I like it. Community
Well, you got to keep
conversation.
life fun, right? And so,
Right.
you know, fun isn't grief. I've
Hmm.
I've lived in grief. I know about grief more just as much as any other person that might sit at a grief site.
Yeah.
So it's awful. It's awful, right? But on Sundays, I always really encourage people to join in and gather in every day, actually, every day. But with here in Canada on Sundays, we're Christian country, so they say,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of people do gather on Sundays, days of worship. And I really encouraged everyone in my ministry today to take that gift of worship right through your whole entire week. Go home, make muffins, have lemonade, and if you see, and always just like be the good Samaritan.
Yeah. That's a tough thing to do sometimes, but yeah, get
Well,
in
I never
there.
met one person along my journey that, because I did work in healthcare for many, many years before. So I saw people that were
Hmm.
quite sick because they come to the hospital because they need something.
Of course.
So I saw people at their worst and then I saw them at their very, very best.
Nice.
So,
After they're on the
seriously,
mend.
no,
Yep.
absolutely seriously. So, when we see people now on the streets, etc., it's my understanding the lineups to get into these hospitals are on the streets. Okay.
Really.
Right
You
across
know,
the
I
country.
haven't gone past or gone into a hospital lately to even check out any of that stuff. I've been
Well, it's been
fortunate
on the
in that
national
degree.
news. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it's been on the national news. There's and it's on Real Talk here.
Yeah.
The wait times, what have you, in different provinces and territories and what have you is astronomical, out
Yeah.
of control, so they'd say. So that leaves a lot of people in wait lines waiting for something. So, you
Yep.
know, if you have a child that is up all night with an ear infection, there's nothing you can do except for get that ear fixed, right? And if they're on a waiting list of who knows how long, okay? Like I don't know how long, okay? But
Hmm.
then that's long-term effects, right? And those children don't really have a voice other than us mothers or us healthcare professionals saying,
Yep.
but I'm hearing it mostly from the more what I would call my elders, right? Anyone that's older than me that knows enough about themselves that they need to get checked out because they either have a long history of diabetes and these sorts of things or what have you. And the point of care for where they might be to where they have to go is further and further every day. Some communities have actually there's nobody to look after the hospital. It sounds like the doors say,
Yeah.
sorry, we're closed.
Yeah, they are shutting down a remarkable amount of hospitals and making mega centers kind of thing, moving hospitals away. So that is definitely
Yeah,
a
so the
concern. And
people that
then
are
not having enough nurses and doctors to facilitate those things too.
well, it's just poor management on the whoever's running them, right? I mean, could you ever believe that? Because remember, a hospital has blood in a hospital. If a hospital has blood there, you know, because we are givers of our, you know, that is, you know, so if we're closing the door on those kinds of things, and the people are outside of those facilities, and they're
Right.
outside on the street today of all days on a Sunday, we should and shall remember being a good Samaritan in
Right.
this country of Canada. There is a huge thing on truth and reconciliation of things that have happened in the past and still continue to happen.
Right.
It's been going on
Atrocities.
for a couple
Hmm.
years that they've actually marked the day. It's September 30th, and it's hard for me to believe that with all the truths that have come out, whatever those truths are, okay, everyone either knows or doesn't know or follows something, right?
That's true.
That anyone that has salvation, a building of a church, should be
Hmm.
opening up their doors to salvation to the people on the street. It's a good idea. It's a
Hmm.
very, very good idea. At least open up your community kitchens and start cooking food.
Absolutely. You know,
Yeah, and
mhm.
that's
I,
that's really my honestly my message on this platform today. And I'm maybe using this platform as another platform because I was on one earlier today, and these are the things I spoke
sure.
about.
Oh,
I
nice.
sure was. I was speaking on you know, some people call, I have heard the name, I didn't call myself this, but Minister Miller.
Hmm.
And the first time I heard that a couple years ago, I was like, Minister Miller. I was like,
You're like, I could do that.
no, no, no. I was like, wow. I actually I couldn't believe somebody from a distance called me that because I was a woman that had absolutely no faith, not too many months before that. So to think that somebody could see some gifts in me that I didn't even see in myself.
Right.
Yeah. So a
Yeah.
minister is again, like in English terms, right? A minister is someone, minister of health. We have ministers within that cabinet, you know, of the
Absolutely.
government. We
Yep.
have ministers that are gifted some sort of robe that go to a church.
Yeah. For
It,
worship and stuff like that.
yeah, and you know, all around the world we call different things. So I don't want to say because I'm not up, I don't want to be up for criticism. I just know that different people wear different cloth or oaths or hold different things because they've been gifted them.
It's almost like you've been deputized, kind of thing, in order to
Well,
become a minister. Kind of
like I guess
consider
if
that.
you, this is what I said to one of my friends last night on the phone. I
Hmm.
said, I guess if you've married people and
Yeah.
you've buried people
Hmm.
and you fed people
Yeah.
and you've served your whole life
Hmm.
and you're blessed to have a family and to still have your health and
Yeah.
have wisdom and hold eagle feather in the country of Canada and the Bible.
Ah,
I guess maybe that means you might be able to be a minister.
maybe, maybe. Hey, you know what? I dubbed thee, Erin, Minister Miller.
Oh, goodness.
Right
Yeah,
on.
yeah. So like, you know, just like different ways of communicating with people is been very golden. And sometimes the more we say, the least people are listening, because we are really attention focused right now.
Hmm.
We maybe have a lot on our plate. We can't get to everything we need to go and get to. So I encourage people today to, write down a couple things that are important to you,
And then get
and
them done.
and then stick with those things. And then,
Oh,
it's
that's
kind of like a
fair.
bucket. And, if you don't think that you can do anything today, you've
Hmm.
done one thing today. You tuned into this station. You listened, no, you listened to the gift of hope, right?
Yep. Yep.
And the gift of connection. I mean,
Hmm.
Malcolm, brother, I've never even met you in real person yet.
I know, right? Isn't that crazy? I
Yeah, and
mean, the wonder of Zoom.
we have a relationship
Yep.
through a common friend. So the power
Absolutely.
of the divine, right? The
Mhm.
power of the divine, the power of freedom, the power
Yep.
of peace, and we pray for abundance
Absolutely.
and
Well, always praying for abundance. That's for
yeah,
sure.
and joy,
Oh,
joy,
absolutely.
joy. So, the gift of music, the gift of a family, the gift of making good food today, and enjoying really what God gives us for free. Yeah. And so if you want to stay plugged into negativity, 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 now, whatever that is for each person, I've been into people's houses.
Right.
Maybe I'll call out my parents on this one,
Ouch.
where I
Okay.
where I
Yeah.
see them watching the corruption of the US government over and over again. I've
Hmm.
been watching this since I was just a young girl,
Right.
and it's whatever that brand is of different things. But no criticism, because they're keeping track of whatever. And maybe I'm just going in at that time, right?
Right.
But if you wanna just, you got to live your best life every day, and being positive and seeing the change right in front of you, the change that you can make.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I heard that Donald Trump might be running for president again, and I actually thought that man, by his criminal like things that I heard,
Hmm.
but like he might be swinging back and becoming the president of the United States again.
I know. And the
And
thing
so
is, I was wondering how that could happen since he
right, but
is
that must be
supposed to be
quite the
indicted.
media. That's like a media frenzy, right?
Hmm. Yep.
So we don't, us over here, we of course want peace. We want
Absolutely.
freedom, and like I know before, brother, I heard you say you fight for this country. We stand up for our country. We have
Yep.
one of the most beautiful countries that I have absolutely ever been to, and I was born here. And it was
All right.
not until this
Fortunate.
year. Yeah, and it wasn't even until this year that I actually went and explored more of Canada on the
Oh,
western
really?
side. Yeah, I was born in
You
the
hadn't
prairies.
explored Canada before? That's nuts.
Well, not really, not too much. I mean, I go off and I go to the ocean and what have you. So it
Your
was
happy place.
July.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to remember I used to work in the healthcare system, where I think they told you got 3 weeks of holidays and you had to put it in a year ahead of
Wow.
time, something
Yeah, I
like
guess
that.
probably based
Anyone that's
on
tuning in from
waiting.
union workers, they'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so the beauty of the different cities within Canada that I went to go see, absolutely stunning. I got toured around to some of the places that we do talk about truth and reconciliation.
Hmm.
I did go out to see some of the problems with the people that are on the street, drug addicted to some of the most worst, grim things that I could ever imagine anywhere in the world.
Right.
Uh, if we could do any favors, like, it's not good to see anybody in that kind of condition, like laying on the beach in Victoria, BC, but
Hmm.
it's no different in Winnipeg on the main road.
Oh, I know, right?
So,
Yeah.
I just saw like a lot of things that I was not proud of for Canada, but not because not because not it's just that I went to go see the goodness of our country,
Right.
right? But I also went to go explore what maybe can be solved in some of the problems that we face today.
Right. Like what could be changed today, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, what
Hmm.
could benefit people, right? And that's why I said earlier in this episode, and people can rewind and keep listening over and over again. It's
Yeah.
opening up the doors to salvation, having the cleanest life you can as possible,
Hmm.
whatever that looks like for each person, I got
It's
my
gonna be
share
different for everybody, that's for sure.
everything, right? But I mean, some of these drugs on the street and in the hands of just, different people, they're very, very dangerous. Fentanyl overdoses, all these kinds of things. And I know from my own heart
Hmm.
that, my son would be here still if it wasn't for some of the choices and stuff that had went on in his life
And
when he
his
was far
life.
away from home.
Hmm. Hmm.
And everyone has a story, so they say.
Right.
And I was absolutely mortified to see, with all my efforts in the past of being courageous enough to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God, that we have this national inquiry of human trafficking. Some of my relatives are buried at a dump somewhere by somebody. We have fires going around the country, and it just seems
Yeah.
like, if we all don't just want change at this point. I mean, I wanted change enough that I had to leave the country because I was not really pleased with their policies, how they
Right.
handle even things like myself, someone like me that founded a not-for-profit Canadian charity, how anyone would think that it's a threat. We're not a threat. We're help like we're
No, you're
helping.
here to help, right?
But you see this over and over again where they want help, but they really don't really want the help, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, sometimes people don't know how to ask for help, right?
Well, if you ask for it, you better be prepared for people to stand at the door. When the Minister of Health says we don't have the capacity to do what is needed to do from our tax paying dollars for our citizens of our country, because we all have the freedom to all of these things. We need help. Or
hmm
when Justin Trudeau comes to the fires earlier this year over in our country land here,
Yeah.
and calls out and says, we need all countries to come and help fight our fires.
Right.
So when we call for help, people are, so when they call for help, don't be surprised when people come and say,
Okay. What can I do?
what can
Kind
I
of
do?
thing.
So if we were all to work together, we would have been working together by now.
Yeah. I should have been working together, but there's there's something disjointed going on there. Um, but
Yeah,
I
and you and Alex talk about that a lot. So that's great. You know what I mean? Because there's
Mhm.
wisdom in all of those things. I want to, for me, I try to stay positive, because if I start thinking about how corrupt some of well, I don't know. I mean, it's the systematic failures. There's systematic failures built around the ideology that some people's lives matter more or less than others. And that's complete bullshit.
I
How many
agree.
different colors of dresses do we have to wear? Badges, every child life matters. Black lives matter. We all
Yeah,
matter.
absolutely we do.
Old people,
Absolutely.
when I say old people, I mean that with all due respect. If you were blessed to be aging with grace, amen.
Mhm.
you know but I mean, the respect that we you know that we actually do have for each other. And we just got to really just try to keep on focused on that. And every day I am just praying that there is no more fraud or BS or any of that kind of stuff brought to my table at all. Like,
Right.
we're closed till further notice, until we can get things sorted through in a proper way where, you know Mama Miller, Minister Miller's living literally on a prayer, which I
Right.
don't mind living on a prayer, okay? But if my
Hmm.
purse was full of more what I think we need some days,
Hmm.
because I have been blessed to be able to go someplace and I see what needs to happen, but I'm still such a young lady, and I've only been a philanthropist really for about 10 years and founded my own company 5 years ago.
Right. So it's
So
in its
if we would have been
fledgling
here
state.
for like 80 years already, we'd be
Hmm.
more established. We'd have more homes and houses and these kinds of things,
Right.
security. But
Hmm.
the reality is, in Canada, they've made it impossible for someone like me to even want to, or even make it possible to live here. It's too expensive.
It definitely is at this
And the
point in
prime
time, for
minister is
sure.
asking the grocery chains to fix this. I'm asking the prime minister to fix the problem on the levies and the taxes that are extra on top of the taxes that we've already
They
pay
already
for,
collect. Yeah.
that we already collected. To think that I am now dipping, I had to find a clause in my pension, okay? Because I
Mhm.
left my pension job a long time ago because those people didn't line up with my values.
Right.
When people are walking away from their jobs, don't think for 1 second there wasn't a huge sacrifice to that. For me, it
Hmm.
was a paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely. And security, right?
Everything,
Hmm.
everything. But you can't fight, you can't go to work and be fighting. I mean, you go to
No,
work to be,
that would be exhausting, wouldn't it?
well, it gets to be that way. That's for sure. But
Absolutely.
yeah, because you're working against a system. You're not actually working with the system. You're actually working with a system that's against things that are just. And I
Important
get
to you. Yeah.
that. I get all of it. I get it all. But like,
Hmm.
seriously, the country of Canada went broke. I mean, the corporation is broke. And it's time for us to get a new binder, burn some of those policies, burn them all, or leave them for the museum and start with like transparent. What's transparent?
Yeah. We don't really keep our own government accountable. I was always wondering if why haven't we as a country done an audit on what's being spent? Because yeah,
They
you can say, oh yeah, this money is going to healthcare, but what exactly are they paying like $10,000 for a hammer? I don't know.
Well, I
I
do
don't.
know all these things. I do know a lot of these things, and that's why I'm blessed with wisdom. And that's why I was saying on our platforms moving forward, I know you and Alex we were supposed to three-way connect, so I'll just connect it by this way. So Mr. Alex could be hearing it this way.
Yeah.
I think editorials at this point,
Hmm.
I've had some feedback from our Real Talk episodes. I've listened to them ourselves.
Nice.
I think some editorials, when Alex and you and myself have some time, we can start detailing some editorials. People are looking for what exactly we know, how to,
Fair enough.
things that make you go, hmm, this is all
Hmm.
of it, right?
Yep.
And so, there's people that need to know some basic things on how to do some certain things, and they're looking for someone to teach them how to do those things.
That's fair. We can do that. We can be
Yeah,
that platform.
and with Alex with his background or background
Banking background. Yeah.
his background in banking.
Hmm.
And I mean, this is the thing that sometimes um, when you're just like kind of by yourself, you're independent. Okay. You get to be so independent, you almost forget the things that you actually know how to do.
This is true. Yeah.
And what is your true purpose and mastery? And I talk about that in my book a lot. I speak about that. And I actually had to reread some of the chapters of my book the other day because I thought, God, I'm not even living. That's why I wanted off of all the platforms because until I'm actually believing in my own superpower, I'm taking it off the shelves because I
Fair enough.
know I my book is Miller Strong, Rewrite Your Story, Take a Stand and Turn Your Past into Your Superpower.
Right.
So I show people how to get to your superpower.
Nice.
And I have superpower, but I do believe it to be true in so many ways that I can only be as superpower as I can be, but I need like we all need each other to be double superpowered
That's true.
because we all have a purpose and mastery. Every single one of us has it. And if when we're working for example, on this platform, this was nothing until we had the idea to do it.
Yep.
When we all work together with the commitment, right, and the good communication, however that works,
Right.
um, and people can count on us that we will have things out when we say we, all those kinds of things.
Yep.
Um, we will build and keep on building. And the idea with Real Talk is to continue to build other
Absolutely.
people, build their lives up,
Yeah, and
enjoy,
bring attention to things that might not be talked about all the time, right?
right? And things that make you
Simple
go,
things.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so one thing that does make me go, is that with, what I talked about earlier, the people that don't have a place to sleep and they're suffering.
Right.
And then I wonder about like how does it when does it end? When does it end as far as like food prices, water prices, commodities? I mean, after a while, we just don't have enough here. And
Yeah,
I can't believe to be saying that in the country that I live in, that we wouldn't have enough. But it appears that way to me where I'm, where I was walking and those kinds of things. But we do have a beautiful country here. We absolutely have
absolutely.
a
It's
beautiful
still
country here.
beautiful. It's not gone. It's not gone yet.
No,
We just have
no,
to
and
reclaim from it.
I do find it very different when I'm here.
Hmm.
There doesn't seem to be as much freedom to do kind of like the free life that I enjoy. I enjoy, being, as anyone that's listening, that's, island life, the chill life, the near the water, the good
There you
music,
go.
probably everybody that's listening that's chiming in at this point. I like to be able to have freedom, and I find a lot of the things that I go to do still here in this country. I don't just not free to do them. I get like
Like
for
what?
example, like
Hmm.
maybe it's just not really thinking, okay? But there's laws and rules about things. But I was walking the other day on the phone because I
Hmm.
was taking a call that I didn't think anyone in the house needed to hear. But I
Of
was
course.
having this drink. I was just having this drink, so I just like walked over here. But
Right.
then, but then somebody said to me, you're not allowed to walk with that. I was like, really? And then I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, I know. It's empty.
Real
But so like, but
little
in
things that we take for granted, for sure.
yeah, so that's one thing about people that are blessed with a home of their own in their own backyard, their own privacy. If you're blessed to
Yeah.
have an office, those ways of communication become, easier, right? Because I'm just like living my life, but if my phone's always on. So if
Hmm.
someone needs something, you know, sometimes it's not as great as I wish it to be sometimes, but that's why I take the call outside the house. I don't want anyone hearing about like because there's some things that are adult talk, things
Yeah, of
that we
course.
can change. And there's
Yeah.
some things that like children just need to not
They
know
need
about
not.
any longer.
Yeah, not yet. They're too young for this.
Well,
Such
they
things.
the yeah, one of the ministers from one of the colonies, Baker Colony, he's passed now, Mr. Ben Mandel.
Oh.
He told me that, or maybe it was his wife. Well, it was somebody there, told me that, we try to keep the kid, we always want to try to keep the children as
Hmm.
pure for as long as possible.
Yeah.
And I thought, well,
They.
yeah, don't we all? Don't we all want to
Yeah.
do that?
Absolutely.
Innocence,
Yeah.
innocence,
Keep
right?
them
So,
innocent until later. They're gonna have lots of time to be an adult. Tons of time.
well, and just like
Childhood
have
is
fun.
too short,
So, like,
right? Yeah.
keep life fun. Another message is like, keep life fun. Today is today. And I know that we do have to put some thought into tomorrow for sure in our short and long term futures,
Hmm.
especially
Absolutely.
providers. But enjoy today because enjoy every day, enjoy every minute, right? And if you are blessed to have, more than you have, it's not a bad idea to give, to be
To give
handing
a
to the
little to somebody else,
line.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not
Give a
saying,
leg up.
one of my things that I just said before I kind of closed the doors here, I said we can't give money because the thing is that there's so much, I guess you would call it like cachiche or skimming or what have you all around,
Yeah.
that it's hard for me to believe that when the only thing that I ask people that they can't do is steal, that I literally still am saying goodbye to people out of my life for those things when I just feel like, wow, because when someone is stealing from me, you're
Hmm.
stealing from a whole bunch of people.
Yeah. It's not just you. It's because you're disseminating that wealth, whether it's knowledge or money or whatever. And when a person is stealing from you, they're stealing from, you know, the web of people that you influence, right? And that you take care of. So I get you. So it's not
And
just
it's not
one
and
person,
it's
and they're
not
stealing
me
for many.
personally. Like it's not me personally, seriously, because this is something like bigger. It's by the grace, they would say in Africa, by God's
Right.
grace, by what have you,
Africa
So
does do that a lot.
it's just that when people are taking, it's losing opportunities for other people.
Hmm.
Because uh, if I, like I said before, if I just was lucky enough to be somewhere and we saw that there was, 30 kids that could go to school, and
Hmm.
what do they need, right? So just because I'm standing
Paper,
in that one,
pencils. Yeah.
Yeah, just because I happen to be the one standing in that particular location, my medicine bag is filled with all th such a things from your kitchen table, Malcolm,
Hmm.
and I'm just
Hmm.
being absolutely serious,
I understand.
from Alex's kitchen table, from our kitchen table. And that's in the past, because I knew when I was always standing somewhere in a different country with whatever we had,
Right.
I knew that the people in Canada were with me
Nice. Yeah,
because
that's
we have
always nice
modern
to have.
medicine. No, we have
Mhm.
modern medicine. We have
Right.
papers, we have pens, and we have a whole bunch more. So even at times where, you know, if you go to a little village somewhere
Right.
and you have a soccer ball and a whistle,
Oh, hey, you have choice. Those
you
kids are
get to,
probably all over you as soon as you
no,
have
no,
that.
guess what you get to do?
What do you get to
Guess
do?
what I
Play
get to
soccer.
do? Guess what
Play
I get to
soccer.
do if I have a soccer ball and a whistle? When I'm out working all day, all I have to do is take it out and I have a soccer team to play with.
There you go. You got a soccer team to play with. You
So,
got a choice. Right on.
yeah, so the beautiful blessing of these sorts of things is that anyone that is a mother, God,
Hmm.
God bless you. God bless you. Anyone that's a father, God bless you.
Yeah.
When we just keep on doing the best we can. I've been talking to lots of mothers in their about 30s or so,
Hmm.
and they are even not even they're not all mothers even actually. They're not all of them were mothers. But
Right.
some of them were, and they're just like really talking about how they're going to be able to feed their kids, what's
Yeah, because
required,
it's difficult
the
now. Yeah.
school, yeah, the school fees, the back to school things, and I don't know. Other than to tell them that we got to, economic development and start your own companies and what have you. But I mean, everyone's just really busy, just trying to survive. I think at this point. So that's why I said you got to look. We're resourceful people in Canada.
Yes, we
Us
are.
mothers are really resourceful. We can literally rub two things together and go get some ice cream, if we need to. So that's what I'm encouraging people to do, on a Sunday.
Right on. Be their best self. Right.
Yeah, that's all you can do, and keep trying,
That's right.
keep doing, keep doing,
Absolutely.
and keep trying.
Absolutely. That's the only thing we can do as Canadians and
Mhm.
as, citizens of this beautiful world is just keep trying and keep plugging away.
Mhm. And I don't think it's a bad idea to get yourself into like good practice.
Right.
Everybody, whatever that looks like, some people call it spiritual practice, routine, scheduled, what have you. But just make sure that you don't forget to schedule yourself in, even if that means getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to spend 2 hours by yourself before anyone else gets up.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
And keeping that's how for myself, I have very, very strong spiritual practice. Uh, I keep myself accountable to myself and
Mhm.
to my heart. I'm still what you would call, uh, well, sometimes I'm a crybaby. I never actually used to even cry. I never even
Really?
cried before, and now
No?
I feel like I have had my fair share of crying. So for good reason. But I've always been a woman of joy. So this morning, before I did off to my ministry, I did change my medicine bag and put everything aside. And these are life-saving things that help people every day. But I filled my medicine bag this time with joy because if I don't go and catch some joy myself,
Hmm.
then I'll just be more
How
and
do
more
you,
angry. Well, I
yeah.
just get more and more angry because there's absolutely nothing I can do other than go from person to person on the street, caring for them, and it's putting myself at risk. And I can't ask like we're a volunteer organization, and we're not. That's not volunteer work.
Right.
That's paid positions. So I'm going for joy, as everyone else should. And so I hope all my public platforms and the things that I've spoken about and some of my ideas do come to fruition. We are
Right.
coming up to fall. We're coming up to Truth and
Yeah.
Reconciliation, which is September 30th.
You
I
got it.
will be
It is.
I will be in Manitoba,
Nice.
doing real time with real people. My Anishinaabe Ojibwe name is Looking White Thunderbird Woman, and it's always
Okay.
my honor. It's always been my honor to serve, especially in my own province of Manitoba.
Nice.
yeah, that's where all my friends are. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. And
There you
I
go.
know the people that are making the ribbon dresses and all those sorts of things for the day.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a beautiful blessing. It's a beautiful blessing to because every other country I've went to,
Hmm.
they do have their language. They speak their language. They wear their traditional clothes. All those sorts of things everywhere from Ghana,
Right.
Africa to Indonesia to Haiti, all around. Okay. So
Yeah,
here in
absolutely.
this country, it's nice to see people celebrating their traditional wear, their regalia,
Yeah,
regalia.
their
They're
traditional
celebrating,
costumes and everything, right?
yeah, it's and what it stands for and why we wear it. It means that we're
Hmm.
proud.
Yeah.
And when I was given my Anishinaabe Ojibwe name, I was maybe around 3 or 4 years ago,
Right.
and that was like just like the most, well, it was such an honor to be gifted something like that because I don't know, I'm just getting to still know what her role is,
Hmm.
what her role is within that community of what's going on. So
Right.
my somebody told me, well, don't you just have to go by your English name? I'm like, yeah, I only go by my English name, Erin Miller, and on my birthday. But a lot of times other people are going by these things. So I kind of made it into some fun because like I said before, economic development, that's the only way we get people off of these systems if they can start earning for themselves.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
when I talk about the ribbon dresses, I hope that we can actually bring one of my sewers onto the show so she can explain uh, more about why and why people are gifted their colors and stuff because a lot of the people don't know. And so if they're tuning into
Yeah,
this,
I
they
don't
will
know.
get to know.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
don't
I
know.
know
Yeah.
that.
And a
Yeah.
lot of people that actually are living on the communities, even one of my girlfriends that is my age last year, she had
Hmm.
never even had a ribbon dress before. And I
Oh,
had one
really?
in my youth. Yeah. And I was just surprised because I thought that I don't know how it all works, right? When you get one, but
Hmm.
there's a traditional way. But I was gifted one from Sipico. Sipico is the woman that was in Edmonton when the Pope was gifted something and she wasn't happy about that. She
Oh,
became a
really?
national on the news. Her name is Sipico. And I just learned the other day she has her freedom. So thank God, Sipico, if you're listening, thank God you have your
Nice.
freedom.
Right
But
on.
yeah, she gifted me a skirt and it was so beautiful. And I had it in my suitcase. And then one of my friends came along and she'd never had one before. And
Oh,
so I said to her, here, you can have this one. And she
nice.
wore it and it's like so beautiful. Like it's so beautiful. And I'm
Good.
just like, that is like, so if we don't think we've come a long ways in the country
Hmm.
to real truth and reconciliation, we care.
Yeah,
Absolutely, we care. And I will be the first one to stand in any school, anytime of anybody that's going to treat our children unfairly
good.
before,
Yeah,
now, and tomorrow. So,
you betcha.
bullying is a real thing and trying to manipulate children to not be their best selves. And
Yeah.
and any of the guys that are listening to this know about this in the locker room, the
Oh, yes.
sleeping. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Sleeping.
yes. I mean, some of those locker room things are the biggest atrocities on the planet. So I get that.
Unheard of.
Yeah,
Unheard of. Right. And
absolutely.
so, I really admire the people that are still sticking up for each other
There you
because it's
go.
not easy sometimes, but we do know the difference between right and wrong, right? So, and if we don't know the difference, follow us, we'll show you.
There you go.
Especially our friend Alex is.
Straight edge. Oh yeah, absolutely. He knows where that line is. He's a good man.
Yeah. I wonder, did he not tune in at all?
No, no, he didn't, or else I would have let him in for
Hmm.
sure. It
Well,
happens.
I hope he's okay. Something's
I,
keeping him in bed on a Sunday morning.
yeah, you know what?
Awesome.
Sometimes we
Okay,
need that
well,
rest, though. Sometimes we need that rest. It's all good.
oh yeah, we always need good rest. I always encourage people to get good rest because that's part of how you get to strive and thrive.
You got it. And sometimes you just need that little bit of healing, right?
Absolutely. Amen.
Right
Amen.
on.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
going for real time, guys. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see Alex.
Nice.
Looking forward to seeing everybody in real time.
You got it. Right
Awesome.
on. Awesome.
Okay, well,
Well,
happy
thanks so
Sunday.
much, Erin. Well, yeah, happy Sunday, and we'll see you soon. Talk to you
Take care,
later.
guys. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.